everyone, back for another review. Today we'll be talking about this movie which is about Princess Diana and about a time where she spent 3 days seeing the Queen of England. Let's talk about Spencer. Spencer is a movie about Princess Diana. She goes to visit the royal princesses for 3 days, and everything goes wrong for her, including her mental faculties. I found this movie really boring. This is a movie where I think more backstory needed to be taken, but at the same time, it is also 2 hours, and it felt every second of this. The problem with it is it's very dialogue heavy, and if you don't know a lot of what's going on in Princess Diana's personal life, I found it very difficult to care. And at one point in the movie, I was like, what is this movie about? What is the point of this movie? You kind of find out about 50 or 45 minutes into the movie, but by then I already didn't care, and then it's so slow moving. And the movie is done in dialogue that is so British proper, it's very dull. Also, the movie comes at you like you're supposed to know what's going on, and where in something like Antlers, where I said they give you enough of a hint to help you paint the characters, here they don't give you enough of a hint to paint the characters, so you have no idea, especially what Princess Diana is going through. You kind of get the hint that she is feeling claustrophobic, being in the Queen's presence, and also with the weight that's put on her shoulders by the fact that she may one day be the Queen. And she's also dealing with all this stuff that everything is being dictated to her. She has to be here at a certain time, she has to wear this type of dress, she's going through a problem with her husband, but none of that is really told enough to you where you feel her plight. Like, it almost feels like there's the first part of this movie that was completely cut up. It almost feels like the setup was completely cut, because you're going through this while she's already having her mental breakdown. And it's kind of distracting because you're literally set in this argument that you don't care about, or at least I didn't care about. Also, I feel Kristen Stewart was wildly miscast in this movie, where she should have been conveying one emotion throughout the movie. It felt like she was conveying someone who was a teenager throwing a hissy fit, instead of someone who's divulging into madness. And that's what this kind of movie is. It was very frustrating, very boring. It does pick up in the second half, but it doesn't make up for the first half. And plus, Kristen Stewart is just doing this weird thing with her body and her face. I do like some of the cinematography, especially in the second act, is very good, so I'll give it credit for that. There are parts of the movie where I think the soundtrack really works for it, especially any part where Kristen Stewart feels like she's having a mental breakdown. But once again, her acting takes you out of it, but the music is very heavy-handed in certain places. And it feels like she is drowning in all this stuff around her. This movie does not paint Prince Charles as a sympathetic figure, and for this movie taking place over 3 days in the Queen's house, the Queen really doesn't have anything to do with the movie. She is literally has like maybe 10 lines in the whole movie. The butler, or I forgot what his actual role in the family is, has more lines than him. And yes, this is a movie where it is like, oh, these are the stuffy Brits, these are the elites, and then she wants to be a free spirit, and it doesn't work because we don't know anything about these characters going in unless you know the history. And this movie is quite frustrating, quite boring. I really didn't like this movie. It does pick up near the end, and it does pick up, especially with Sally Hawkins' character, who plays she's the one of the people who dresses Princess Diana. She has a good bit with her, but she makes a reveal later on in the third act of the movie where Kristen Stewart looks at her and goes, "Oh, I have to have a reaction? Okay, let me have a reaction." And then I never bought her as Princess Diana. The ending, as it is, goes on too long as well. And it is this touchy-feely thing where it's like, you could have shortened the ending or not have done it at all. And it is kind of predictable once the third act happens with her. But I didn't understand who this movie was for. If you're a fan of Princess Diana, they don't really paint her in a good light. They paint her as a lunatic, an anorexic, and someone who is seeing visions. Prince Charles doesn't come off any better. He literally is only talking to her in one scene, which I have to say is shot very well. And that's where the movie really came together for me. But that's kind of all he is. He's just a stuffy Brit. That's it. The Queen has basically almost no lines in the movie, and you never really feel what the movie, I think, intends you to feel, and it's the suffocation of Princess Diana. So it really didn't work for me, and like I said, it's very slow, it's very dry, and it's very boring. I'm going to give Spencer a 2.5. I really disliked this movie. It wasn't interesting. Are you going to see Spencer this weekend? Please let me know in the comments below. And if you had a different experience than me, let me know. I'm always open for that. So until next time.